Hey guys, Mark here. Welcome to my beginner's guide for the Walkera V370D01. It's a 4-channel fixed pitch helicopter aimed at beginners. So I went ahead and picked this up at Heli Direct, and I just wanted to make some videos about it just to give you some extra information and tips in case you were thinking about purchasing one or in case you already did purchase one. So this video is just going to cover some basic information about the helicopter. I'll show you what you get in the box when you buy one, and I'll just have some of my final thoughts about the helicopter. The second video, I'm going to cover charging the battery, some information on setup, as well as some pre-flight checks, just to make sure you're good to go before you go try to fly this. Third video, I'm going to cover some of the repairs that you may have to do to this, and a couple other things I plan on doing. This helicopter comes with brushed motors, and that's great for beginner helicopters, and if you're going to use this as a stepping stone to a 6-channel collective pitch helicopter, then the brush motors are fine. But if you're going to spend any length of time flying this for a couple months or something like that, the brush motors are not going to really be what you need. So I'm going to make a video covering how to convert this to a brushless setup, because it's actually pretty easy. There's a couple parts that you can buy from Heli Direct, and just to, almost a plug and play system. So I'll show you how to do that in future videos as well. But again, this video is just going to be, just some basic information about the 370 here. So this helicopter, 4-channel fixed pitch helicopter. It's a 300 size, so it's the same size as the Honeybee fixed pitch version 2, fixed pitch version 1, as well as the Exceed RC Falcon 40, same thing. The frame of this is actually the same as the Exceed RC Falcon 40 V2. This frame is kind of similar to the original Honeybee design, where you can see here it's got these really long skids and stuff like that. Not really the best, but it definitely does do the job. Now this is the largest in Walkera's Flybarless fixed pitch helicopters. All the other fixed pitch helicopters they make are smaller than this, and the smaller you get, the more, well, I'm not going to say twitchy, but the more of a handful the helicopters become to fly. So when it comes to learning to fly, the bigger the helicopter, the better. And that's why I actually got this to make videos about, because I think this is actually going to be more suited to beginners than the V200, which I've made videos about in the past. Now this is, it's a very simple design as far as the rotor head, just like the V200. There's only like 26 spare parts listed for this helicopter, whereas like with the Honeybee, I think there was something in the order of 40 to 44 spare parts. So that just shows you, there's a lot less parts here. 2 servos, 2 motors, very simple, great design. Comes with the 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, programmable. It's got the on-screen display, very cool. I really like this transmitter. The 3 major cons to the helicopter are the frame, which I mentioned, but for a lot of us that started flying on the Honeybee version 1, we were used to a frame like this, and this is better than that frame. It's just, they could have done a better design, but nonetheless, the frame, not my favorite, so I list it as a con, just mainly because where the tail boom mounts, that's going to break. That's going to be one of the weak spots of the frame. I can tell you that right now. It's always been the weak spot on this type of a frame. Other than that, the other 2 cons to this helicopter is it uses brushed motors, which they don't last very long. It's great in the beginning, but again, they're not, the lifespan on them is very short. And also, it uses a 800 milliamp 7.4 volt battery. So the capacity of the battery is fairly small, so you don't get that good flight times. They say that you'll get around 7 to 9 minutes, which, you're going to get about 6 to 7 minutes of flight. Hovering takes more power than actually flying around. When you're doing forward flight, it's a lot easier on the battery, but when you're just sitting there hovering, that's going to use up the battery a lot more. So that's going to shorten the flight times. But also with being 7.4 volt, it's a little underpowered. It is a fairly light helicopter, whereas like the Honeybee fixed pitch version 2 with the newer frame, that's a heavy helicopter. This one's lighter, so with a 7.4 volt, it does fly pretty good. Doesn't handle wind very well, being so light. But in the beginning, if you're flying like in large indoor areas and stuff like that, then this is actually really good. Garages, Even outside with light wind, this does pretty good, but again, with it being very light, the wind will just kind of take it away. So try to stay out of the wind. But really, I really like this helicopter, and again, as I said before, if you're looking to get into the hobby and you're going to be limited to kind of like one helicopter, this is actually going to be the one that I would recommend getting. I used to recommend the Honeybee, but eSky kind of just, I don't know what they did with that. They just stopped making it or something. This is basically what the Honeybee should have become, just short of like the frame, but this is the Flybarless design. It's got the metal rotor head, metal swash plate, computerized transmitter, fixed pitch. Again, it's the same size as the Honeybee, so this is, you know, again, this is going to be my pick for the trainer to get if you're limited to one helicopter. Now, if you're limited on space, then you're going to want to look at a smaller version of the Flybarless fixed pitch helicopter series from Walkera. But if you've got, you know, the space, then the V370 is going to definitely be the one to get. So now I'm just going to show you real quick what you get in the box, and then just some final thoughts. Alright, so you can see here on the box, you got on the one side just a picture of the helicopter, and if you spin it around, you got a picture of the transmitter as well, and a brief explanation of what everything does. So now I'll go ahead and open the box up, show you what it looks like. Now, it's always a good idea to save the box because it does kind of double as a carrying case. And the way they put these in here, slide it out. It's over here on the side. Now you got the manual for the helicopter as well as the transmitter. So make sure you go through and read this. The manual for the transmitter goes over how to convert the transmitter to different modes, so that's kind of cool. The manual also explains most of that manual too. So I'm going to unsnap this here. And you can see here we've got Walkera V370, very cool. Flybarless. Give you a better look at this here in a little bit. Then over here we've got battery. We've got an 800 milliamp 7.4 volt lithium polymer battery. Underneath here we've got the transmitter. Pretty cool. This is the WK2403 4-channel transmitter, 2.4 gigahertz. Then over here we've got this little bag with a flat plastic screwdriver as well as a little Allen screwdriver. And then we've got the battery charger. This battery charger will charge both 7.4 volt and 11.1 volt batteries. But this helicopter only comes with the 7.4 volt, and you got the wall adapter. So I'll give you a better look at this here in a second. Alright, now I got everything laid out so you get a nice good look at it. So we'll start up over here. So we got the manuals. Make sure, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but anytime you get a new helicopter, always go through, read the manuals. So the manual for the transmitter, again, it covers a couple things as far as you can convert this to the different modes. You can put the throttle over here, you know, change all different kinds of things on it. It also covers how to adjust the tension on the sticks, and then you can actually make these a little bit longer or shorter. And again, that's covered in the manual, so read that. Manual for the helicopter, that also covers some of the stuff in here. It also covers everything about the helicopter, so go through, read that. Moving on to the charger here, you can see it just plugs into the side, and when you're charging your battery, you're just going to plug it in the front and it'll blink. I'll go over the operation of that in the second video, but again, this is just basically how it hooks up. Very simple, easy to use. It does a good job for the first charger. Move that off to the side here. The transmitter, very cool. This antenna, it's not broken, it just folds. So this is the WK2403 4-channel 2.4 gigahertz transmitter. So this is a very cool transmitter. It's got the digital screen, so you can make your adjustments on it. Digital trims. Got dual rate switches to make learning to fly just a little bit easier. On the back here, you got the door. You got this little battery holder for 8 AA batteries. but you can get a lithium polymer battery to stick in there if you want. So that's pretty cool. Got a little charging port, but you're not going to be using that, so don't worry about that. And I'll go over the operation of the transmitter in the second video, but this is just a brief look at it. So that's very cool. Now moving on to the helicopter. Oh, real quickly, got these two little you got the plastic screwdriver and little Allen wrench. These can be used for working on the helicopter, both making adjustments and taking some of the stuff off. And then we got the helicopter here, the V370. So this is a pretty cool helicopter. It's a 4-channel fixed pitch helicopter, very basic, very, very simple. You can see here the rotor had Flybarless design, so it makes working on it very simple. Setup is unbelievably simple. Flip around. Now this does use a tail motor, and these are brushed motors on here. Let me take the canopy off so you get a better look. It's underneath here. Now, there we go. Let's see here. This is pretty cool. And again, this uses brushed motors. Kind of outdated, but this is a beginner helicopter, and for the price, you really can't complain. I will be going over how to upgrade this to a brushless motor in a future video, so look forward to that. But for now, this is what you get here. You got the receiver up here, you got your battery tray. Very simple, 2 servos. I mean, it's just, it doesn't get any simpler than that. Now this is kind of older design frame. This is based on the original Walkera number 4. And this is kind of just a slight evolution of that. This is very similar to the Falcon 40 V2 that's out right now. This is like a Flybarless version of that. So, but anyways, that's what you get in the box. Now I'll just go over some of my final thoughts. Alright, just some final thoughts regarding the 370D01 here. Now again, I really like this helicopter. I think as a trainer, this is probably going to be the best one that you could get, unless you're very limited on space. I don't like suggesting people start off with small helicopters because they are kind of twitchy. Also, they're very hard to work on. Some of them really small helicopters, like the MCPX, I was working on my buddy's for him. It's a nightmare. Those screws are so very small. I've got big hands. Very, very hard. So the bigger the helicopter, the easier it is to work on, the easier it is to fly. So that's again why I recommend the 370 here. Now, as I mentioned before, the 370 here, the frame design is more similar to the eSky Honeybee fixed pitch version 1. The Walkera number 4, which is the predecessor to this, that was pretty much identical to the first Honeybee here. So again, it's very similar to this. This one comes with brushed motors, but the Honeybees have always come with brushed motors, and thousands of people have learned to fly in the Honeybees, no problems. So I kind of think that a lot of people overlook the 370 just because of the frame design and the brushed motors, but again, I don't think that that's a downfall. It's not that different than the Honeybees here. It's the same size as them, but it's a lot simpler, a lot easier to fly. And again, I'm gonna make a video showing you how to do the brushless upgrade on this, so that way you'll have the performance and whatnot. I do wish that Walkera would develop this helicopter a little bit further, give it a better frame, and actually make a brushless version from the factory. That would be awesome. But who knows? Maybe in the future. So, but like I said, I really like this helicopter. Same size as the Honeybees here. This thing's very stable, and let me see if I can not crash here. I'll show you. See here, I mean, this thing flies really good. This is straight out of the box. I haven't done anything to this except stick batteries in it. I mean, that's really good for right out of the box. I mean, this might be one of the first ready-to-fly helicopters that you can get. Most helicopters say ready to fly usually means ready to fix. And other than that, look for the second video, which I'll cover some setup which as you can tell, it doesn't really need much. So talk to you guys later. Have a good day.